Imagine this, you are riding along the Kingsroad, the freezing Westeros wind whipping your face, and suddenly you come face to face with Jon Snow, an angry dragon, and a microtransaction bill that looks like it came straight out of the Lannister. Coffers, welcome to Game of Thrones Kingsroad, the open world action RPG that promises to take you back to the Game of Thrones universe with a mix of nostalgia, frantic combat, and a bit of that political chaos we all love. Developed by Netmarble and released on May 21st, 2025 for PC, iOS, and Android, this free-to-play title, with a paid early access history, puts you in the shoes of a bastard from House Tyre, a noble family from the north invented for the occasion. Your mission? Restore your house's honor, forge alliances, and survive in a world where betrayal is as common as rye bread in a King's Landing tavern. Is Kingsroad the Game of Thrones game we've dreamed of since we saw Ned Stark lose his head, literally? Or is it another failed attempt to capture the magic of Westeros, the narrative of Game of Thrones? Kingsroad puts you in the skin of an illegitimate son of House Tyre, a minor noble family from the north that doesn't appear in the books or the series, but fits perfectly into George R.R. Martin's universe. The story begins at a key moment in Season 4 of Game of Thrones, right after the Red Wedding, when Westeros is plunged into the chaos of the War of the Five Kings. After the death of your brothers and your father's illness, you become the unlikely heir of the house with the mission of restoring its glory. To do so, you must travel along the Kingsroad, earn the favor of the great houses, and face threats ranging from bandits to mythical creatures like dragons and White Walkers. The plot is a strong point. Netmarble has done an admirable job capturing the essence of Game of Thrones. Political intrigues, sharp dialogue, and a grim tone that reminds you no one is safe in Westeros. Cameos from iconic characters like Jon Snow, Samwell Tarly, and the Boltons are a delight for fans, and the voice work, though not always from the original actors, is well imitated enough to keep you immersed. The main story is solid, with twists that, while not reaching Martin's level of writing, keep things interesting. The cutscenes are well produced, and the soundtrack by Ramin Djawadi, yes, the same as the series, will make you feel like you're watching an HBO episode while galloping through Winterfell. Also, the idea of playing as a bastard who must earn his place in a cruel world is a perfect nod to the Game of Thrones narrative. The narrative choices, though not as deep as in a Telltale game, allow you to shape your path, from choosing who to ally with to deciding how to approach certain quests. Want to be an honorable Stark-style hero or a Machiavellian opportunist? Like Littlefinger? The game gives you some freedom to roleplay, and that's a big win. However, not everything is a feast in the Great Hall. The story, while entertaining, isn't exactly faithful to the book or series canon. Encountering White Walkers and dragons from the beginning feels a bit like someone blended seasons 4 and 8 in a narrative blender. The most purist A Song of Ice and Fire fans may frown at details like enemy direwolves south of the wall, or how easily your character, a northern nobody, strolls around Castle Black as if he owned the place. Also, House Tyre, while well integrated, feels like a generic add-on that could have been any other minor house. Why not use an existing house like the Umbers or the Karstarks to give more narrative weight? Another issue is that the story, while solid, doesn't reach the level of complexity you expect from Game of Thrones. Decisions have impact, but not to the extent of changing the course of the plot significantly. If you expected a game where your choices could trigger events as dramatic as the Red Wedding, you'll be disappointed. It's more of an Assassin's Creed with a Westeros flavor than a deep narrative RPG like The Witcher 3. The narrative had me hooked like a raven to a juicy message, but at times I felt like I was playing a glorified fanfic. It's as if Netmarble said, let's throw in dragons, Jon Snow, and a bit of family drama, and done. Don't get me wrong, I had fun, but as a fan of the series, I wanted more backstabbing and less go kill 10 bandits. Give me a betrayal that makes me scream 7 hells at the screen, Game of Thrones. Kingsroad is an action RPG with a semi-open world, real-time combat, and an approach that combines elements of Assassin's Creed. You can choose between 3 playable classes: the Mercenary, Two-Handed Axe, All Muscle, the Knight, Sword and Shield Tactical, and the Assassin, Dual Daggers, Agile like a cat. Each class has its own combat style, with combos, dodges, blocks, and active abilities that you can customize through 3 talent trees: Attack, Defense, and Support. Combat is, without a doubt, one of the strong points. It's fluid, responsive, and has that satisfying weight that makes each hit feel impactful. The animations are flashy, especially the assassin's executions, which make you feel like Arya Stark on a bad day. The manual controls, thank you. Netmarble, for not falling into the auto movement trap of other mobile games, are intuitive, and the combo and ability system lets you experiment with different playstyles. Boss fights, like a giant turned White Walker or a dragon, are thrilling and require strategy, not just button mashing. The semi-open world is another win. Westeros is recreated with a level of detail that will make fans emotional when visiting. Places like Winterfell, the Wall, or even King's Landing, the areas are interconnected, with landscapes ranging from snowy forests to swampy marshes. And there's a ton of side quests, collectibles, and random events that bring the map to life. The fast travel system and mounts. Yes, you get a horse. Make traveling not a chore, though sometimes you'll wish your steed was as fast as a charging Dothraki. The game also includes a co-op mode where you can join other players to fight mythical creatures like dragons. These battles are fun chaos, especially when you manage to coordinate with your allies to bring down a giant beast. Plus, the crossplay support between PC and mobile ensures you'll always find someone to share the glory or defeat with. Now, hold on to your cloak, because here comes the fire-breathing dragon monetization. Kingsroad is free to play, but it suffers from a severe case of mobile game syndrome. From inventory expansions to a gacha system for artifacts, a battle pass, and a monthly subscription that removes annoyances in exchange for perks, the game constantly reminds you that it wants your money. Die on a mission. Pay copper, the in-game currency, to revive. Want fast travel? More copper. Looking for that epic helmet that looks like it came from the Lannister armory? Open your wallet or prepare to grind for hours. While everything's technically obtainable through gameplay, free players' progression is so slow it feels like trying to climb the wall without an ice axe. Combat, though fun, isn't exactly innovative. If you've played Assassin's Creed or Shadow of Mordor, you'll feel on familiar ground, but without the depth or variety of those titles. Classes are tied to their starting weapons, limiting customization, and enemies, aside from bosses, are often damaged sponges with AI that seems to have fallen asleep in a Dornish tavern. The talent trees are a bit chaotic, with options that don't always have a clear impact, and the crafting system is overloaded with resources that make you feel like a Dragonstone accountant. Technical performance also has its issues. On PC, the game is poorly optimized, with pop-in problems, elements suddenly appearing, and FPS drops even on high-end setups. Combat made me feel like a knight at a tourney, until I realized I was paying copper just to avoid walking 10 minutes. To the next checkpoint, the monetization is like a raven constantly cawing "pay, pay" in your ear. Visually, Kingsroad makes a brave effort to capture the majesty of Westeros. The landscapes, from the snowy forests of the north to the plains of the Kingsroad, are designed with a level of detail that will make you stop to admire the view. Until a bandit stabs you in the back. The character models, especially known figures like Jon Snow, are faithful to the series, and the cutscenes have a cinematic feel that immerses you in the experience. The soundtrack, reusing Ramin Djawadi's themes, is a nostalgic punch that will have you humming the main theme while dodging arrows. Sound also shines, with clashing sword effects, dragon roars, and dialogue that captures the sarcastic and dramatic tone of Game of Thrones. The voice actors do a decent job, and while not all are originals, they're convincing enough to make you believe you're talking to Samwell Tarly and not a Westeros karaoke impersonator. But not everything is a visual feast. The graphics, though, decent for a mobile game, feel outdated on PC. The pop-in effects are so noticeable, it's like trees and enemies materialized by magic, and the textures sometimes look like they're from a PS3 game. Optimization on PC is a mess, with FPS drops that can turn an epic battle into a slideshow. On mobile, the graphic sacrifice is understandable, but don't expect Genshin Impact level detail. The sound, though good, sometimes feels recycled. Djawadi's themes are great, but they repeat so much that after a few hours, you'll wish they'd compose something new. And the combat sound effects can get monotonous, especially when you're hitting the same bandit for the 10th time. When I first saw Winterfell with the Game of Thrones music in the background, I almost shed a tear. But then I saw a tree pop out of nowhere and an NPC with the same face as 10 others, and my dream of a photorealistic Westeros faded faster than Robb Stark's war plans. Netmarble, please, give the graphics engine some love. If there's one topic that sparked controversy since early access, it's monetization. Kingsroad is free to play, but it's designed to tempt you into spending money at every turn. From battle passes to monthly subscriptions, gacha systems for artifacts and premium currencies, copper, that unlock everything from cosmetics to progression perks, the game doesn't hold back when it comes to draining your wallet. The good news is you can enjoy the main story and many side quests without spending a penny. Items and currency are shared between your characters, encouraging you to try all 3 classes, and daily rewards and timed events provide a steady flow of resources. Netmarble has listened to some early access criticism and adjusted the frequency of certain enemies, like dragons, in co-op mode so they're not so overwhelming. But let's not fool ourselves, the monetization is aggressive. The gap in progression between paying players and those who don't is abysmal, especially in the later stages. The gacha system for artifacts is particularly frustrating, as the chances of getting epic items are lower than surviving a wedding. In Westeros, microtransactions are everywhere, from reviving after death to speeding up expeditions or unlocking inventory space. The game constantly tempts you with offers that seem to scream, "A Lannister always pays his debts, and so should you." I felt like Tyrion Lannister trying to manage my budget in a King's Landing brothel. Every time I saw a message saying pay €5 to unlock this epic helmet, I wanted to scream Dracarys and burn down the monetization system. If Netmarble balanced progression better for free players, Kingsroad would be much more accessible. Kingsroad offers a generous amount of content. The main story can last between 20 and 30 hours, depending on how much you explore, and the side quests, daily challenges, and co-op events add dozens more hours. The possibility of playing with 3 different classes and sharing resources between them encourages replayability, and the co-op mode adds a social component that can keep you hooked. The time-limited events and the updates promised by Netmarble suggest that the game will have long-term support. However, replayability is limited by the monotony of some missions. Many are of the go here, kill this, collect that kind, and the feeling that progression is designed to keep you grinding. If you don't pay, the later stages can feel like a full-time job, which might discourage less patient players. I had a great time exploring Westeros, but after 10 hours of killing bandits and gathering herbs, I started to feel like I was trapped in an endless loop worthy of Bran Stark's nightmares. If you love grinding and you're a Game of Thrones fan, you'll stick around for a while. If not, you might leave the Kingsroad before reaching King's Landing. Game of Thrones. Kingsroad is an action RPG that fulfills the dream of exploring Westeros in an open world, with fun combat, solid narrative, and an atmosphere that will delight Game of Thrones fans. The recreation of iconic locations, the cameos of beloved characters, and Ramin Djawadi's soundtrack fully immerse you in HBO's universe. However, its aggressive monetization, outdated PC graphics, and gameplay that doesn't innovate enough keep it from being the definitive game of the franchise. It's like a good wine from Dorne, pleasant at first, but with a bitter aftertaste if you overdo it. Recommended for die-hard fans of the Game of Thrones lore who want to relive the magic of Westeros and don't mind dealing with microtransactions. If you're looking for a deep RPG like The Witcher 3 or Elden Ring, you might want to wait for Netmarble to polish the game, or better yet, for someone to make a AAA RPG based on A Song of Ice and Fire. Kingsroad is not the game we deserve, but it's the one we have right now. It's fun, chaotic, and full of potential, but it also made me want to scream Hodor out of frustration more than once. If Netmarble listens to the community and adjusts the monetization, this game could become a classic of Westeros. For now, grab your sword, mount your horse, and get ready for a journey full of glory and bills. That's all for today. What do you think about this game? If you've already tried it, leave your comment down below. Don't forget to share this video, give it a like, and subscribe for more epic content. We invite you now to watch the video I'm leaving here on the screen. You're going to love it. See you on the next adventure.